Hello and welcome back to yet another video of our food app series. In this video, we are going to implement the first screen, like the home screen of our app. It's been a while since we have been working on the authentication flows. So I have basically fixed the remaining flows that were missing in the last video. For example, we implemented the dialog in the auth screen. I have implemented the same dialog on the login screen and the sign up screen as well because it was a repetitive task. So I haven't created a video of that, but it was the same thing that we did. The code is also available on the GitHub, so you can get that. And in this video, we are going to implement the restaurant flows. So restaurant flows means that, for example, the first thing that we need to do is that we will be implementing this categories, right? These categories mean that we will have something on top that will be horizontally scrollable, and we can scroll to different section, right? And along with that, we will also implement this section, which means that we will have a featured restaurant or something like that. And that featured restaurant will show us the restaurants, their ratings, the basically name, and other kind of things that are available inside them. So that's pretty much what we will do. And without wasting any time, let's just get started. So the first thing that I need is that I need to gather around some sort of data. Get over here and let's just get to the code. And now we have this authentication flows that are there. And along with the authentication flow, what we need to do is that we need to get over here into this home screen and then create a package. And inside home, let's call this, sorry, not a package. Let's create a new Kotlin class and call it a home screen, right? And home screen mean is basically this is going to be a simple file, and let's create a composable for that and call it function home screen. And what we need from this is we need a nav controller. So that is something that we will be adding, right? Along with that, let's just create a new Kotlin class and call it home view model. This is going to be a class, so that is again home view model, and that home view model is gonna get you something like, right? So we have this home view model. Make sure to make it a hilt view model, and since it's a hilt view model, you'll also need to inject constructor like this so that hilt can inject whatever is required. And since we are injecting, what we will do is that we will inject food API, right? That is going to be, that should be, well, right? So we have pretty much everything that we need. Now the next couple of things that we need is basically the UI state. So for that, we are gonna do the sealed class home screen state, and that is going to be object loading empty. Success case is going to be a list. Right now, it should be something like list of um, kind of restaurants, or you can say let's just use this simple as a success. It's going to be again an object, right? Let's just get rid of that. Okay. And what else do we need? I think that should be enough. And along with that, you'll also create a sealed class home screen navigation events, right? And this is going to be home screen navigation, navigate to details, which is going to be the something for us. And now let's create a UI state that is going to be private wall UI state is equals to state flow of home screen state, and the initial value is going to be loading, right? And then we will be doing something like that as UI state as state flow. Okay, just one missing thing. That is going to be mutable state flow like this, right? And we'll do it this way. That's one thing. We'll also make private navigation, and that is going to be mutable shared flow, right? And this is again the replay is not required, and we'll be making this as shared flow so that it's not being accessible. Okay, now I'll create two different function. One function is going to be get categories, that will help me fetch the categories. Second function is going to be get popular restaurants, right? Right now we don't have any popular restaurants on the backend, so what I'm gonna do, okay, so now I have these things that are there. Okay, so now the thing is that we need categories, and that categories, let's say as soon as the init is called, we will be making something like this. Okay, so these are the points where we will be making these calls, and now what we will do is that this inside these we will be loading the data, different kind of data into it, right? So what kind of data, what data do we need, right? So to access the data, what we need to do is that we need to go to our backend code. So this is our backend code, and then inside this backend code, the first thing is we need categories. So we need to go to the categories call, and you can see that slash category is the endpoint that we need, and it's a get call to get all those categories, right? And this is pretty much what it will do, that it will give us all the categories, list of categories that we need. So basically we have these things, and the category is basically accessible. So we'll just go to our Android code again and go to our food API. Over here you see we have these post methods, right? This was the endpoint that's not been used, so I'm gonna replace it with categories, and that is going to be get categories, right? Now for categories, we need to run the code, and what we will do is that we'll get over here and replace this thing with this and make a call. Now once you make a call, you'll get something like this. So what you need to do is that you need to copy all the things, right? And go back to your Android section. Now inside this Android section, we'll go to the models, right? And this in model, right click new, go to this Kotlin data class conversion, and paste all the JSON that you've got and make it a categories response. Okay, now once you do that, what it will do, that it will create a couple of classes. For example, you will get this categories, and then for data you'll get something like this. And now we'll just rename to category. Okay, once you do that, it will also update it over here. And now what you have is that you have this category response. So just copy that, go over here into this section, make it a response, and inside response will pass this. Okay, now this means that, okay, this will basically return as some categories, and we will load that categories into our home screen. Now as you remember, what we need to do is that we need to do is view model scope dot launch, right? And this inside that we will be doing is that we will making wall response is equals to safe API call, right? And then from safe API call, we'll just say food dot get category. And now the next thing that we need is that we need to check if there is like a success case, will pass it as a success. If there is an error case, will pass it as an error, and else part is again going to be an error case, so we'll just pass an empty over here for that. Okay, so now we have pretty much the basic category stuff done. For restaurants we don't have any, but let's just implement first the categories and see if it's been displayed properly. Okay, so I hope this will basically help us get the categories. If I'm not wrong, there is one thing that we need to fix before going there, but let's just keep it this way, and we'll fix it later on. Now, over here, what we need to do is that we need to define our view model. So we'll say view model as a view model, home view model, and that is going to be hilt view model, right? Now, inside that, if you look into our design, let's just get to our design. Does design have this top header section? I'm not going to implement for now. Then we have this text that says, what would you like to order? And this search bar, right? So for now, what I'm doing is that I'm not implementing these things. In fact, I'm directly implementing this. This is basically the categories that will be displayed, and you can see how it looks, right? So now let's just go back to home section, and over here what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna create another composable, and that is going to be function um, categories list, and it should say on category selected. That's going to be a category, and also it's going to be unit, something like this. This is for the list, and we also need to pass the list of categories. So we'll pass categories as a list of category. Okay, make sure to do that. Okay, now once we do that, now the next thing is that we need another composable that is going to be function category item, and that should contain a single category, right? And a click event that says basically on category click. Now, if you look into your category, we have two different things. One, we have a column. First thing that is important, we have a column, and that column should have modifier dot padding from each side. First, we need to have an 8 dp padding. That's important. Then we have let's say a clip that is again a round corner shape, I would say. And that clip means that, okay, when you click on that, oh sorry, this clip means that this is going to be a round corner shape with kind of a 45 dp, because I'll be using around 90% of height, and I'm gonna say the height is going to be 90 dp, so that it covers pretty much what I want. Now inside that, we'll be using an image, and now basically we can use an image, a different simple image, but since I'll be using image from the URLs, so for that case what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna implement coil, right? Coil is basically a image library. So I'll go over here and I'll add this coil dependencies and sync it. Okay, so once you sync that, you'll have to wait for a while. Okay, so now we have this thing done, and now inside that we also need to have internal padding that is also going to be 8 dp. Now what we will do is that we will create a async image. So this is done. Model is going to be category dot image URL. The content description is going to be null. Now we need to define a couple of things. So we'll be making modifier dot height. Sorry, it's going to be height. That is going to be, or sorry, modifier dot size. That is more or less 40 dp, I would say. Plus what we need is that we need a couple of more things, like we need to clip it. That is going to be a circle shape, so that it's remains circle. Also along with that, we will be scaling it to center, so we'll make sure that it's a center. Let's make it center inside, right? What else do we need? I think that should be enough. Then we need to add a spacer modifier dot size that is going to be around 8 dp, and then we will use a text. That text is going to be category, sorry, not a text field, it's going to be text, right? That should be something like this. Okay, we don't need these two values, so we'll just use it something like this. Okay, so now we have a category item, and now what we will do is that we will be saying lazy raw. Inside lazy raws, I'll be using items and pass categories to this, and from there we will be using just something like this. Okay, this is done, and we also will make sure that it's clickable. So once it's clickable, we will be saying that when user clicks that, it should get it like to this. And now over here, what we will do is that we will implement that. So I'm not gonna make a lot of things for now. We'll just show a like a simple column that have modifier dot fill max size. From inside that, we will be saying wall UI state is equals to view model dot UI state dot collect as state, and when the UI state dot value is success. So let's say if there is a loading, if it's empty, if this will need to implement these categories as well. So let's just create a property. Let's go over here into home view model and create categories, right? Or you can say an empty list, that is going to be of a category initially, right? And when there is a success case, what we will do is that we will say response dot data dot data. Okay, that is going to be list of categories, and one is um, when basically the categories are available, we'll just fetch that, and I think that should be enough. Just one more thing is that first we need to make sure that the data is assigned before, and I think that should be enough. Now what we need to do is that we need to link this home, like we have this home screen, but we need to link it so that rather than showing that red color screen, we properly display this along with the loader. So over here you can see we have this home section. So over here what we will do that we'll just pass nav controller to this, and we should be good from loading it. Now, all these thing works. This is good that everything is done, but we don't want to log in every single time. Like this doesn't make sense, right? So if you want to have like a section that when basically you don't have to like keep on logging in, for that, what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna create an object class that is going to be food hub session. Okay, and now over here what I'll do is that I'll create function uh, store token, which means that is going to store a token for this function. Fun function get token, which is going to be retrieve the token. Now what we can do is that we can either use shared preferences for that, or database, or whatever you want, so it's totally up to you. Let's just make it a single simple class, and along with the class what we will do is that we'll implement uh, context over here. Okay, and now in it, what we will do is that we will be calling wall shared pref is going to be shared preferences is something like this, right? And for token, what we will do is that we will say shared pref dot edit dot put string token, something like this. And in this case, what we will do is that we will say shared pref dot get string, that is going to be token, and if it's not, we'll return that, else we will return an empty string. So that's gonna be unnullable, so that we can return a null in case there is no token available. Okay, now, this food hub session should be like either created from here, where we can call it. So for that, what I'm gonna do is that I'll say provide function uh, provide session. Okay, and then that session needs a context. So for that, what we will do is that we will say application context as an application context, and we'll return something like this, and it should be food hub session. Sorry, this is going to be okay. So I think once we do that, we should be able to access this session anywhere we want. And the first thing where we want this is over here inside this inside this activity class. So what I'll do is that I'll inject session as a food hub session. So now this is going to be a session. Now over here as a starting point, where is this starting auth screen over here, right? So what we will do is that we will say wall start point is equals to if session dot get token not equals to null. If it's not null, this means that we can directly go to home, else we'll go to auth, and that is going to be the start point, so that it's right. Or what you can do is that you can just get rid of this rather than assigning it to a single variable so that it create casting problem. You can direct use it like this. Okay, now let's just run it and hope that this time it works. Okay, so now since somehow the token was not null, which is weird. It should have been null because we haven't stored it. Let me see if I made something wrong. If we get over here and see this get token. Oh, so default value is empty, which is not be empty, it should be null. But the thing is that you can see that we got something like there has been the images might take some time in loading, but once you log in, you'll see that you should get these things. Now you'll see when I click on that, you see an error code as well, error that is basically properly shown, which is a good sign, right? And it's also formatted as well. Also, if I go to login, now let's just try. Let me see if this worked. Let's see. It failed, and it's also giving me this, which is a good thing, I would say. Okay, let's try sign up. Okay, so now this time, okay, now you can see that I've successfully logged in, and it's okay. Now all the images are also loading. Definitely they are not centrally aligned, plus the text size is quite big, so we need to reduce the text size. But other than that, I think it's working. I might need to add a slightest of this background for this as well, so that it looks like it is under the design as per the design. So yeah, let's just get to work on that. So the first thing is that we need to reduce the font size. I'll go back to my home screen, and inside this home screen over here, this is the font. So we'll be making font, sorry, that is going to be style is equals to this textile. And over here, we will be using font size to be 10.sp, right? That's one thing. Second thing is that we need to make sure that everything is center. Uh, Vertical arrangement is going to be this. Horizontal alignment is also be going to be centrally aligned. Okay, now that's done. Also, I think we need a background for that as well. So let's just add a background just to see how it looks. That is going to be gray dot copy, and alpha is going to be 0.1 f. So not that much, just a slightly of background to see if the design that we are trying to implement is working. Also, the session thing, need to fix that as well. So we go to home, sorry, we go to our auth screen, sign up view model, and so this is the on social success, which is the section where this token is being created. We need to do handle that. Okay, so first thing is we need to call it wall session is going to be food up session, right? Now let's just work on that. Over here on social success, what we will do is that we'll call it session dot store token. That is going to be token, so that next time we don't have to get over here loading. Fine, on login clicked, this is the sign in failed section, and this is the sign in success section, so we need to add this over here, and I think that should be enough. Okay, that's done. Now we'll do the same thing in the sign up view model, sign in view model as well. So first thing is that we need to define wall session is equals to food hub session. That will basically inject it. And now on success case, we'll place it over here so that it's successfully stored. And on socials, we'll also be using this as a storage. Right, we only have one authentication section left over here, so we'll make sure to add that over here as well, like this. And over here we'll call it wall session is food up session. Now this time after that, when I log in, it won't create any issue, and it will work as per my expectations. So next time I won't have to log in when I close the app and get back to the app. Okay, now we are over here. Let's just go to the login section, create gm.com 3456, try to log in with the email, and now you see that we have somehow reduced it. And now interesting thing is that, let me close the app. This time when I close the app and I get back to the app, you'll see that this time it won't log me in. In fact, it will take me to the home screen, right? And now you can see that For some item it looks pretty good that it shows it as per what we want, but for somewhere basically the text size is quite big, so for that we need to fix that. We don't want to want it to like expand or reduce based on that. In fact, we want to adjust the text inside that, either ellipses or something like that. Now what I'll do is that I'll add a width to that. That is going to be 60 dp. Now let's just try again, see if this time it adjusts accordingly. Okay, now at least it looks much better in a way. It definitely has gone to one side, but at least other than that, it looks much better. I'll center align this as well so that it fixed that issue. But overall, it looks much better, right? So to center align the stuff that we did, that is going to be text align, and that is going to be center, or no, it's text, that is going to be text align center. Okay, now let's just rerun this. Now you can see that it's center aligned as well as have the same width as well. So I think that's something, that's one thing. We also need to add some sort of shadow as well. So let's just add some shadow to this as well, right? We can add the elevation to be like 16.dp or something like that. Along with that, if you want a shape for that, you can also define a round corner shape with the, we'll try to be the same as it is for the overall image, or the overall thing that you have. And now let's just see the shadows, how the shadows are affecting. There's just one more thing that we need to fix, and that is this background color stuff. I think we can make it a white. Okay, so we have added this shadow. What we need to do is that we need to get this clip from here and paste it over here, somewhere over here, right? And I think now let's just run the code, and hopefully this time we'll get the shadow, uh, right? So now you'll see that is loading, right? You can see that now it's showing some sort of shadow. The shadow definitely looks quite uh, very dark, so maybe we can reduce this to something smaller or something like that. Hopefully this will reduce this dark background, dark borders that we are getting to a lighter stuff. Sure if that's gonna work. Is it the elevation, right? Okay, let's see. Tree is working. Else we'll have to reduce the color of the shadow. So like you can adjust the color as well. Yeah, so it was 16 was fine. Now what we need to do is that we need to change the color. The ambient color is going to be gray dot copy, and make it an alpha of 0.4f. Same is going to be the spot color. Spot color is also going to be something like this. And now this time when you run this, this time the shadow will be much more adjusted. Let's see how it looks now. Or maybe make it a 8, 0.8. Hopefully that should work. It's more about like hit and trial to identify which one looks better or matches as per the design of your app. Yeah, this one looks much more better. Now we also have we need to have some sort of shadow around this image as well, to make it like slightly better. So for that, we'll also use that in the for this image as well. And as I said, we will be using the shadow before that. And this time we are going to use the orange color that we have, orange, and this is going to be circle. So make sure to use a circle shape. The elevation might not be that much. You might need a smaller light stuff of background of this. Let's see if it's visible, although it's won't be visible that much, but let's see. Let's just remove this alpha and see how it looks without the alpha. Now you can see there is a slight color around this image that we have. I'm not sure if I can like make it a bigger and you'll see it then, but yeah, you can see there is like a slight background for this which was needed, and I think that's how we want, right? So that was categories. In the next clip, in the next video, what we'll do is that we'll implement the restaurants, and then we will implement the home screen so that it looks good, right? So thank you so much for watching the video. Have a good day. I'll see you in the next video. Happy coding. Bye. I hope you liked the video, and if you did, please like the video, comment down below, and share the video with your friends. For similar content, you can subscribe to my channel. You can also follow me on Instagram, and if you have any queries, you can join my Discord server where we discuss different kind of things. So thank you so much for watching the video. Have a great day. Bye.